Don't be shy, don't stall. We got a funky vibe, yeah. Welcome all. It's a safe spot where the truth of mine. Share your thoughts, leave your worries behind. Woo! Defenseless, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love flow free. Join the fam where you're meant to be. Woo! Got mysteries, stories that feeling right. We dig deep, ain't no secrets to hide. No judgment here, just an open crew. We're all about justice and the honest view. Yeah, defenseless, that's where you belong. Click that like and groove along. Hit subscribe, let the love flow free. Join the fam where you're meant to be.
Well, fancy meeting you here, eh? I bet ya. Good morning, good morning. It's good morning for me too. It's 1:05. Yeah. I might have had a few issues with my Google Me Bob. It's amazing. One password change can completely fuck everything up. Anyhow, I got there. How are we? Did we all have a good weekend? I do believe Mr. Udahef had a great weekend, so I'm told. That discussion, that topic will be addressed, but it will be a members only stream, because I have a few new ideas. Well, with the help of Udahef, for some extra, for a new thing. So there's some things in the pipeline. Stay tuned. I've been so busy editing. I've only just heated up my dinner, and I've just had a mouthful of it, and it's still cold. So I have to go back and heat it up. I forgot to take my painkillers, so I've just had them. So we're off to a good start, and my I can't get my camera. Hang on. If I do it too low, oh look, that'll do. Goodness sake. So today I've chosen to do the Rachel Watts case, because it is just, it's beyond tragic, but also inspirational as well. So the Rachel Watts story is connected to the Babes in the Woods murders, which happened 4 years prior. So we're going back to 1986 in Brighton, England, for the Babes in the Woods murders, and that involves two beautiful little girls. Let's have a look. We have here Nicola Fellows and Karen Hadaway. So on the 9th of October in 1986, hang on, I've got the wrong setting on. That'll do. The girls were found unalive in Wild Park in Brighton, in East Sussex in England. Now, the main suspect in this case was a man. Well, no, I wouldn't call him a man, actually. A person by the name of Russell Bishop. And he was 20 years old at the time and a local roofer. He knew both of the girls' families and they knew him. and he used to play football with the girl's father, Nicola. I think Nicola's father, Barry. And they went missing on the 9th of October, and Russell Bishop was involved in their search. He participated in the search with his supposed terrier dog, who was trained and was insured for £17,000. So he was out there doing his canine thing, and was there when the bodies were discovered. That will come into play a little bit later. That's important. And so they basically found this, hey, Texas Granny, how you doing? Welcome. You haven't missed anything. We've only just started. So we're back into 1986 in Brighton, in the UK, where two young girls were found dead in Wild Park. And the main suspect was part of the search and rescue team and was there when they found the bodies. So, yeah, I'm about to eat my dinner when I reheat this after I do this intro and put the video on. Yes, he was there when they found them, and then he became their main suspect, basically. And there was a trail that led from that park to his home, where they found this blue sweatshirt that had red stuff on it, and bits of plant material that were found at the scene and all that stuff. And so the police picked that up and took it to his house, and he wasn't there at the time, but his girlfriend, the little skank, Jenny Johnson, was there. And when they knocked at the door, she opened it and she said, oh, so you brought Russell's top back. And she didn't realise that she had just pretty much given them the ammunition they needed to arrest him, because that connected him to them. So they arrested him, goes to trial. And yeah, it's a long story. But what I might do, I'll play that now. I want to read that. No, all right. I'm going to go back to a little bit of background on him. So I'll get rid of that screen for now. I actually found this site really, really interesting. So Russell Bishop, he grew up in a family with his parents, and he had 4 brothers. His mum, Sylvia, can't read that, was an internationally renowned dog trainer. Probably that's why he's got this £17,000 terrier. And I need new glasses. That's not helping. Here's one I prepared earlier. That's better. Woohoo! Okay. So, his mother was an internationally renowned dog trainer, and was described in court as domineering. So he's got mummy issues. After educational problems and a dyslexia, he was sent away at the age of 15 to a special needs school, St Mary's at Horham. Horham, you say? In Maynard's Green. Now, I did have a giggle at this, because in the UK, they have the weirdest addresses. When I was over there in 92 or 3, 92, I think, whenever mad cow's disease was on, that explains a lot. I was nursing at the time, and I had just finished my degree, but I hadn't actually registered, so I could only work as like a nurse's aide over there because I wasn't registered. So I was waiting for that paperwork to come through. And so when I worked over there, it was £2.40 an hour. That was the rate of pay, which is $5 Australian, which was sweeter pay. And my boyfriend at the time, who became my husband, was a licensed and registered plumber, and he was hoping to get work over there. But because he didn't have any of his tools, he couldn't get work. Thankfully, his mother was English, and he was he had the equivalency of a British passport, so he was able to collect their version of the dole over there. So I was doing some work in a nursing home, and I was also doing some work with an agency at up in the country, up in the north, up in Cumbria, the northern, just below Scotland. We lived in Windermere, and the nursing home was this massive, big mansion. Like, it was a huge old house, someone's house. So it had this big winding staircase up to the top, and absolutely completely carpeted, the whole place. All of these ornate velvet armchairs, like, so you can imagine, it stank. It reeked because people were, there was no facilities, like no, they hadn't adapted anything to make it more comfortable or easier for either the nurses or the patients. So every room was carpeted. So if they stood up and they had a commode beside it, yeah. So if they didn't make it to the commode without any lifting machines, they peed on the carpet. They didn't have any particular protection on the beds. So if they went to bed, that was your job to strip it. Luckily, they had these laundry chutes where you could just shove them down to the laundry. Actually, my husband got you got work in that laundry for a few weeks towards the end there. And when I went down there, like we had to go down there. That was where we kept all it was like down in this basement thing. And we had to get on the way. It was a big pile of these thick paper things, and then you had to grab one, fold it all up, pin it, and it became your cardboard nurse's hat. It was disgusting. The uniform and the hat. I must dig up a photo somewhere, but oh. So yes, we'd have to go down there to the staff room past the laundry, and they actually had massive, two big industrial washing machines. One was just labelled like poop, first washed. The second one was second washed. Like, so they didn't rinse anything out. If it was covered in shit, it got just put straight into that first one and then to the second one. So half the time, they still came out brown. It was horrible, horrible. And there was this one woman right up the top, Mrs. Gorska. Oh, God, she was a nasty piece of work. I still remember her name 30 years later. And she had constant diarrhea, like non-stop, day, night. And so she would buzz that buzzer, and she was at the furthest room, right up the top of the stairs, right at the back. And you'd see that light come on, and you, fuck. And we'd all fight who had to go and get her, because she would want to go to the commode. No joke, by the time you cleaned her up, put her back in the bed, and walked out, the buzzer was going again. She needed another shit. And she would not take anything for it. She would not, like, stop eating for a day just to let her gut settle down. Nothing. She was an obstinate bitch. She was one of these old, I think she was from old money, and she would just sit there and doll herself up with her lipstick and her powder makeup and a revolting revolting perfume to try and get a stink off her. It was horrible. Anyway, I digress. So my point was, I had worked for this agency and they had sent me to look after this lady who had dementia for the day, for respite from her husband. And the address they gave me was called Wasdyke Farm, Ings. That's it. Ings was a suburb or county, whatever. Wasdyke Farm was the address. Yep. It took me probably 2 hours to find the place. Trying to ask for directions on where this Wasdyke Farm was. All the locals knew. I had to go through like 4 or 5 cattle grids up the back here, around the back. Oh my God. By the time I got there, they had cracked the shits because I was so late. They didn't want me to do the shift. I'm like, so I ended up quitting on that job and just went and worked at the nursing home. But the shifts at the nursing home were from 7 a.m. till 7 p.m. Yeah. Sorry, 7 a.m. till 5 p.m. or 12 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah. So I had the 12 till 10 New Year's Eve and then the 7 till 5 New Year's Day. Hello, Barbara. Welcome. Lovely to see you. Oop. Yes. All right. So back to the case. So back to Russell Bishop. So he had dyslexia. That was sent away to the special needs school at Horham in Maynards Green. He's removed from the school at the request of the then headmistress and ran away, hitchhiked his way home back to Brighton. And at the time of the murders of Nicola Fellows and Karen Hadaway, the Babes in the Woods murders, he was 20 years old and was working as a roofer, living on a ground floor flat in Brighton. Now, a former friend of his, Jeff Carswell, used to go fishing with Bishop back in the day when they were teenagers, and he described him as a habitual liar. I'll have to read this in an English accent. Habitual liar. A typical lad round here, throwing things around town. He grew on a moustache, porn stash. Yeah, he grew himself a moustache, and he had his car used to race everywhere, and he was always like telling lies and trying to big up himself. He was only 5'5" tall and weighed about 8 stone, soaking wet. And I think he might have suffered from little man syndrome. He was always telling porky pies. Brings back so many memories. Porky pies lies comes from the traditional English cold pie, pork pie. They are yum. They're weird, but they're yum. And so many weird things over there. Like they have this thing called a Cumberland sausage. And basically, if you go to the butcher's, it is a sausage that must be about 20 meters long, and it's round up like in a circle, like a hose. And you choose how much you want, how long you want your Cumberland sausage. I'll have 10 inches, thanks. That'll do. They don't eat pumpkin. No. I tried to make a roast dinner one night. I went shopping for veggies and went to 3 different fruit shops, and they all looked at me stupid. Like, I'm like, where's your pumpkin? And the third place went, pumpkin? It's not Halloween. That's all they use their pumpkin for. They feed to the pigs. But their Yorkshire puds make up for it. So, he suffered from little man syndrome, and he was always telling porky pies and all that. He was a a bit of a thief, and he'd break into cars and steal stuff. He'd been a roofer for a little while, but he was going nowhere, really. His previous criminal history included a fine for £200 for burglary in 1984. He also stole some car radios and hot-wired some vehicles. He also claimed to have been wrongfully arrested on suspicion of involvement in the Brighton bombing. In 2018, the independent newspaper Brighton reported that in 1986, Russell Bishop was a semi-literate, occasional, and not very successful car thief, and the occasional burglar. So then we go to the 9th of October, 1986, where Nicola Fellows and Karen Hadaway go missing. There is a whole trial that goes along with that, but we're going to jump ahead to 1990 and talk about Rachel Watts. Rachel Watts. I don't know if you saw the trailer that I put up. Was a 7-year-old girl who was at home with her family, and at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, she put her roller skates on. She was given £1 by her dad, and she went roller skating down to the sweet shop to get some sweets, and she got lost. And she saw a man who was fixing a car on the side of the road, and her dad was a mechanic. So she went and asked him for directions because she felt safe with him, with putting the 2 and 2 together. Oh, my dad does that. He must be okay. That person was Russell Bishop. And he pretty much grabbed her, threw her into the boot of his car, took off. She actually was very forthright, and she found some. Oh, hello, mister. She found a hammer in there and some WD-40, and she started bashing the boot with the hammer and screaming. And that would actually work in her favour later, because when they identified the car, they saw the dents in the boot. And the WD-40 was still there. So he abducts her, he takes her into the woods, he SAs her, he strangles her, and he leaves her there thinking she's dead. And about a couple of hours later, she is seen by a passerby. She's found walking naked along a dark country road, bleeding, confused, and scared. And then she is taken to hospital and released into police custody, where she's being interviewed. That's where we start.
By telling my story, I will.
Ah!
Did he carry you?
Stop! Okay, so this is where we start. Our story is in the interview, like a few hours after she's been found, basically. Let me just get rid of that because that's annoying me. Up we go. Right. And I apologise. I think there might be like a 5-minute thing in the middle where I didn't realise that you could pick up. I was doing 2 things at once. I was editing and recording. So there's a little bit of background noise for, I think, 5 minutes. It's not too bad, though. Sorry. Here's what it is. Okay. That'll do. Hang on. Oh, no. Oh, Isn't it that big? I think it might have been the way I saved it. Okay.
I'm hoping by telling my story,
I'm just going
I
to
will
heat up
be
my
able
dinner.
to put myself
2
back
minutes.
in the now.
What do you think he did?
This is 7-year-old Rachel Watts. Just hours before this footage was recorded, Rachel was found wandering alone by the side of the road with her clothes missing and covered in bruises. The woman on the right is Rachel's mom. She was told by police not to show any emotion because it could cause Rachel to shut down, and they need her to talk.
Can you tell me what happened when the man stopped the car?
He took me out and then took me into the clearing in the wood.
And did he say anything to you when you opened the lid up?
He just said goodbye.
And did he carry you straight to the clearing? Or did he take you somewhere else with us? Or did he put you somewhere else with us?
He just came straight to the clearing.
Notice how for the first time, Rachel is looking down, dangling her legs nervously. That's because she's hiding something. Something she doesn't want anyone to know.
Yesterday, when we were talking in the hospital, you said that the man put you in the back of the car. Do you remember that? Did the man touch you at all?
For the first time, Rachel's mom is hearing the details of what happened to her daughter, which makes keeping calm incredibly difficult. Rachel, however, is too terrified to talk, and what she says next is not the full story.
But you put me in the car and took me out of the
Did the man touch your face?
When we were in the back of the car, he put his hands around my mouth and then he put his hands around my neck.
When you put his hand on your mouth, can you show me how you did that? Can you show me? I see. So, and then you said he put his hand round your throat.
And I had to stop that so I couldn't say anything more.
Did that hurt?
That's
when you
awful.
put his hand round your throat?
Ugh.
Can you show me or me how he did it?
He put his hand there and it squeezed quite hard.
Rachel is afraid that the man who tried to kill her will come back for her. The problem is, she will have
So,
to face him
at
again.
7 years old,
February
she
7th,
had to face
3 days
him in
after
a
the
lineup.
attack, Rachel is standing behind a one-way mirror, just a few feet away from a line of suspects.
And I'm going to ask you in a moment whether the person whom you saw on that day is here.
But Rachel
This
has
is
no
4
idea
years
that someone
after
in this lineup has
Babe from the
already
Woods
killed 2
murder.
other girls, and if she can't point him out, he will strike again. The year is 1990. In a suburb of Brighton called Whitehawk on the southern coast of England,
Microwave's
7-year-old
really done.
Rachel is living a happy life with her loving parents, Jenny and Peter. On that particular day, Rachel is out roller skating while her dad is working in the front garden. She asks him for money to go buy a chocolate bar at the local candy store. It's around 4 p.m. when Rachel rolls away in her white roller skates. Just a little over an hour later, Rachel's parents are beginning to worry that she hasn't come home yet, when suddenly there's a knock at the door. It's the police, like road, over 7 miles from her home.
I saw her come out from behind this bush. She was completely naked, kind of hands
awful.
like this, and crying. Her hair was all disheveled. There was blood in delicate places that I couldn't care to mention. I jumped out of the car and ran towards her, and she said to me, "Are you going to kidnap me?" And I said to her, "No, we're here to help you. You're going to be okay."
It's clear to the couple what happened to her, and they're horrified. They rush Rachel over to the closest house and call the police.
When the police officer came, she just said, "Am I mum?" I said, "Yes." That was when she said Rachel was in the hospital. Sorry, it's still raw now,
Poor bugger.
even after all these years.
Rachel's mother, Jenny, rushes over to the hospital in Brighton, where she's met by police officer Deborah Wood. Before she's allowed to go see her daughter, Jenny is asked to do the impossible. She's told she cannot show her daughter she's upset, or it may cause her to shut
You
down.
imagine?
And for now, police still need to interrogate her.
Debbie said, try and be strong. Try not to show any emotions.
Yeah, right.
She was sitting in bed with a colouring book.
This is what got me.
And I just sat.
So she's sitting in the hospital bed. Her mum walks in and she's just sitting there colouring a colouring book. And then when she takes her home,
there with her while she coloured.
And I'm going to ask you in a moment.
I'll
whether
point
the
it out
person
when
whom you
they
saw
get to it.
on that day is here.
3 days later, Rachel is asked to identify her attacker. Police have arranged a lineup consisting of 1 suspect and 9 lookalikes. One of them is a man named Russell Bishop, someone police have accused of murder before. But in 1987, after being acquitted of all charges against him, Russell Bishop walked free. It all starts on October 9th, 1986, the day Karen Hadaway and Nicola Fellows go missing.
What time were they last seen?
At about 5:30. It's not like her to go too far away unless she's going usually to a friend's house.
And who am I speaking to now, Mrs.
Hadaway.
Who's the other mother, Mrs.?
Mrs. Fellows.
Right, and they're 2 9-year-old girls.
2 9-year-olds.
Over 150 police officers and neighbors of the families have been searching the large wooded area near the girls' homes, but after nearly 24 hours with no sign of them, people are beginning to lose hope they'll be found alive. The story gains national attention, and Karen and Nicola's parents go on television to ask the public for help.
Has she ever run away from home before? Well, she hadn't. So you don't think that they just ran away for fun?
No, they're up to something mischief, but what I can't think.
She's gone. And Nicky, both. The only way they've gone is if someone's picked them up.
Come home, darling, please. Daddy's not going to tell you off. Just come home, please, now.
It's 4 p.m. October 10th, police officer Paul Smith is walking towards Wild Park, just a few streets down from where the 2 girls live, when he has the strangest encounter.
I was doing house-to-house inquiries, and as a result of a radio message, I went across to the other side of the road, which is Wild Park. This voice behind sort of shouted, "Oi, what are you doing?"
The voice is that of Russell Bishop. Russell lives in Molescombe and is close to the families of the 2 girls. He's part of the search efforts and has been walking around.
Part of the
with his
search
dog.
effort.
And he said to me, "We've been tracking all day, but it's getting late now and we're going to give up." So I said to him, no, we've got to keep looking. And he said, "Well, if I find them and they're dead, I'll get nicked, won't I?" And it was quite strange. I mean, why did he say that?
That means
What made him say that?
get arrested in
Bishop is
in
known by
English.
the police for his petty criminal history, car theft, shoplifting. Everyone around the estate considers him to be a bit of a joke. But his comment doesn't go unnoticed. As the men are walking back into Wild Park, they hear 2 boys screaming the words, "We found them! We found them!" Russell Bishop runs off toward the voice, faster than Officer Paul Smith can catch up.
I said to Bishop, "Look, you keep them away from the girls and you keep away from the girls." I was right behind him. And I got there and stepped between him and the 2 girls. And they were there as if they were sunbathing. Nicola Fellows was on her back with 1 knee up. And Karen Hadaway was laying on her stomach with her arm round as if she was
Look at her.
They were arranged like that. I went across to them and I took their pulse. And sorry, it still gets me. I took the pulse and they were stone cold dead, like pieces of marble.
One of the police officers come and told me that, yes, she's been found. And I said, "Oh, great, you know," and I said, "Has anything happened to her?" Saddest day of my life.
Fuck that.
I was actually in the park and they were found. And when I see the tapes come out, I just knew that something bad. You know, I just collapsed on a heap on the floor.
The worst thing I ever had to do in my life was go down and identify her.
Oh. No thanks. Fuck.
That's 50 pence.
You gave her 50 pence.
I had to walk away.
The crime has a devastating effect on the community. Everyone is terrified for their own children. Detectives interview over 10,000 people in what will become the largest murder hunt in Sussex.
Yo, Bill.
One name keeps coming up.
Russell Bishop was always a person of interest. Everybody was saying, "Why is he doing this? Why has he done that?"
Bishop is known to both families,
He's a
so
piece
the
of
girls
shit.
knew him.
He was asleep. They were arranged like that.
Oh.
I went across to them and
I didn't edit that very well, did I?
Close to where the bodies were found. She says when she opens the door is,
Oh, hang on.
Detectives.
Walk away.
The crime has a devastating effect on the community. Everyone is terrified for their own children. Detectives interview over 10,000 people and will become the largest murder hunt in Sussex. One name keeps coming up.
Russell Bishop was always a person of interest. Everybody was saying, why is he doing this? Why has he done that?
Bishop is known to both families, so the girls knew him very well, which means it wouldn't have been hard for Bishop to convince them to follow him into the woods. There were multiple sightings of Russell Bishop in and around the area at the time the girls went missing. What's more, one witness says they saw Bishop wearing a blue sweatshirt that night. The description matches that of a blue sweatshirt, which was found discarded on a trail close to where the bodies were found. And that trail leads to Russell Bishop's house.
On the blue sweatshirt, there were ivy spores that were consistent with where the girls had been found, but inconsistent with where it had been dumped. There were traces of fibres from the girls' clothing on the sweatshirt.
It became very clear that whoever had murdered Nicola and Karen had been wearing the sweatshirt at the time they did that.
In order to confirm they have the right suspect, detectives have to connect Russell Bishop to that sweatshirt. But in 1986, DNA science is still in its infancy. However, forensic analysis reveals the red stains on the sweatshirt are not blood, but a very specific type of paint, the same red paint Bishop was seen using on 2 of his friends' cars. This could indicate it was in fact Russell Bishop's sweatshirt, but they need to be sure. As Russell Bishop is being interrogated by police at the station, officers take the blue sweatshirt to his house, where they're greeted by Russell's girlfriend, Jenny Johnson. The first thing she says when she opens the door is, "Oh, you've brought Russell's sweatshirt back." Jenny has no idea that she has just incriminated her boyfriend. The 2 officers take a sworn statement from her, which she signs without hesitation, proving that Russell Bishop owned the sweatshirt that was worn by the girl's killer.
And we thought, this is it. He's guilty of having killed these 2 children.
Thought that there was sufficient evidence to convict.
Bishop was the murderer. No doubt whatsoever.
On December 4th, Russell Bishop was charged with the murder of the 2 girls. Since that time, he's continued to deny both killings.
I thought, it can't be him. Why would it be him? He comes to the house all the time. I play football with him on Sundays.
Never think somebody who you knew would actually come along and do such a terrible thing.
November 1987, more than a year after the murders, Russell Bishop's trial begins. The entire country is watching. Everyone wants to see justice for the girls they call the babes in the wood. And the prosecution is convinced they have a strong case, but there's one thing they couldn't have accounted for. When Jenny Johnson, Russell Bishop's girlfriend, takes a stand, she changes her entire story.
Jenny Johnson made a statement to the police that that sweatshirt was owned by Russell Bishop. And in court, turned around and said, Russell Bishop never owned that sweatshirt. She said to the court that she was forced to sign this statement. The police forced her to sign it.
You nasty.
The prosecution knows Jenny Johnson is lying under oath to protect her boyfriend, but they have no way of proving it. Because the blue sweatshirt can no longer be linked to Bishop, the defense argues it almost
basically, she did a sworn statement, affidavit, signed it, that sweatshirt was his, and completely committed perjury on the stand. And that was the only piece of real hard evidence that they had. As you heard, back in '86, the DNA testing and all the forensics wasn't like it is now, obviously. So they didn't have all of that backup. So basically, once that piece of crap girlfriend, Jenny Johnson, denies him owning that shirt, and it actually tells the jury that the police forged her initials on the on the affidavit. The judge ended up having to give a directed verdict, basically stating that if they couldn't, the jury couldn't. What's the wording? If they couldn't agree that the girl's time of death was between 5:15 and 6:30, I think, then they had to acquit, because that was the only thing. The girls had been seen up to, I think, 6:30. They must have had an eyewitness. So it was like this really fine timeline. Where is it? Oh, I'll read this out because it goes into a bit more detail. So, the prosecution suggested that the girls were killed between 6:15 and 6:30, but they didn't have the scientific evidence to back it up at the time because of the forensic limitations. And so the prosecution couldn't challenge Bishop's alibis on the night of the murder. Though the girls were fatally strangled, neither measurements of hand marks around their necks or fingerprints left by the strangler were taken. The forensic scientists did not analyse any blood discovered on Hadaway's underwear, and a key piece of the prosecution's case rested on the recovery of that blue sweatshirt. So, yeah, they had the girlfriend identify it, do the affidavit. Under questioning, Bishop denied that it was his sweatshirt, and yeah, she committed perjury, basically, and that was the key bit of evidence. So the judge, what was it? Justice Sheeman issued a directed verdict to the jury stating that unless they were sure that the girls were deceased by the 6:30 p.m., that they should acquit. The prosecution believed that the girls were unalive between 5:15 and 6:30. The pathologist of the forensic investigation team failed to record the temperatures of the bodies, and therefore they could not accurately state the time of death. That ultimately contributed to Russell Bishop, after a 4-week trial and 2 hours of deliberation, being found not guilty on both the rape and the murder charges of the 2 girls. So, not guilty. Yep. Not guilty. I hate that when that happens. It's such a small.
Why would it be in? He comes to the house all the time. I play football with him on Sundays.
Never think somebody who you knew would actually.
Months since Russell Bishop was cleared of murdering Karen Hadaway.
Blue sweatshirt can no longer be linked to Bishop. The defense argues that almost anyone could have killed the 2 girls. The case falls apart. After 4 weeks of trial, the jury is asked to deliberate.
The man who had been accused of murdering 2 schoolgirls from Brighton has been found not guilty.
Not guilty, lads! Yay!
Piece of shit.
Everyone was just stunned. What could possibly have gone wrong? We knew that it was Bishop. Everybody knew that it was Bishop, yet he'd walked free.
In 1987, there's a law called double jeopardy, which states that a person cannot be tried twice for the same crime. Once acquitted, Russell Bishop can never be tried again for the murders of those 2 little girls, even if police could find irrefutable proof that he is the killer. As Bishop leaves the courtroom, he puts his hands in the air and shouts, "I'm innocent." He then rushes through the line of reporters to go celebrate at the pub across from the courthouse with his brothers and his girlfriend. The Hadaway and the fellows' families are devastated. They know they will never see justice for Karen and Nicola.
You feel like everyone's laughing at you, you know? You feel like they're looking at you and thinking that those little girls' lives were worthless.
I was so angry. I thought, but who the hell could have done it then?
It's less than 4 months since Russell Bishop was cleared of murdering Karen Hadaway and Nicola.
To add insult to injury, the slimy prick accused Nicola's father of committing the murders.
Fellows. Since the trial, Russell Bishop has been trying to readjust to family life.
As months pass, a wrongfully accused Russell Bishop takes the spotlight while the country forgets about the real victims. The Sussex Police are convinced that Russell Bishop is guilty and that they had the right man. But with the double jeopardy law, there's no use in them continuing the investigation. This angers the public, and everyone is demanding answers.
The parents of Nicola and Karen are determined that the case shouldn't be dropped.
There's 2 little girls in a cemetery up in Brighton, and if only for them, we've got to get to the bottom of it. 50 people set off in a march from Brighton to Wild Park.
Yeah, they're protesting for the police to reopen the investigation. And who attends the protests with them.
As part of the protest, a petition was handed to the police calling for the case to be reopened.
I'm adamant that my daughter's killer should be found. I won't rest till this man or people are brought to justice.
August 19th, 1989, the parents organize a march to force Sussex Police to reopen the case. Among those who participate in the protest is Russell Bishop.
I suppose some people might be surprised that you're now linking up with the parents of the two murdered schoolgirls, having been accused yourself of their murder.
People are very surprised, but keep asking me why do I keep on and on and on.
Because you're a fucking piece of shit.
My name isn't called until someone else brought justice to real person.
Everybody that knew anything about the case was sickened by seeing him behave like that. If he had any sense of decency, he would have shut himself away, but he had to put himself front and centre.
Everyone can see that Russell Bishop is using the protest, organized by the families of the victims, as a platform to improve his public image.
Seeing the smirking Russell Bishop, seeing the parents of the kids who had been murdered and knew that Bishop had done it, it was horrific.
After his acquittal, Bishop received £15,000 from the tabloid News of the World to publish his version of the story as a victim of this miscarriage of justice. In the article, the Bishop family explicitly frames Barry Fellows, Nicola's father, as being a better suspect.
He said that during the police inquiry, 9 people appeared to be suspects, and Barry Fellows was one of them. He said it was not unknown for a father to kill his daughter.
Has it been more hard to stomach in the sense that you've been accused of possibly being involved?
Not only did he lose his daughter, he got
anyone to
accused
say
of...
that I killed my little girl. No way. No way. No way at all. I deny it emphatically. I love that girl.
However, after a full investigation by Sussex Police, they find the accusations to be baseless. Barry Fellows is completely innocent and cleared of all charges, but the damage is already done.
The house, it was covered in graffiti. Murderer, we don't want you here. Get away. Despicable people.
Nicola Fellows' father, Barry, felt moved to make a statement as to rumours and suspicion about him.
There are various people out there who have accused me of various crimes. This not only hurts me personally, it hurts my wife and son even more.
Russell Bishop got what he wanted. He's no longer the villain of his community. And on February 2nd, 1990, the Sussex Police sent Bishop a letter confirming the case of the Babes in the Wood is officially closed, which means someone has gotten away with murder.
Did it again, you stupid thing. Yes, the 2nd of February, 1990, he was officially sent the letter of the formal letter of acquittal. 2 days later, he abducts Rachel. There we go. The play button is so close to the timeline button. It's really hard.
The case of the Babes in the Wood is officially closed, which means someone has gotten away with murder. February 4th, 1990, 2 days after Bishop receives that letter, is the day 7-year-old Rachel is kidnapped.
We're just going to talk about what we talked about yesterday at the hospital, okay?
So he thinks she's dead.
Yeah.
He thought he killed her.
At around 4 p.m., Rachel is out roller skating while her dad is working in the garden.
It was really sunny. It was really warm. My dad gave me £1.
This is
to go
Rachel
to the
Watts
local
speaking.
sweet shop, but because we'd been living there not very long, I got lost.
What did you want to buy?
Did a plan. Tricks and mother.
Did Daddy say anything to you?
What's he say? Be careful.
I saw a man, and he was fixing his car.
Sorry.
And my dad's a mechanic. So, because he was a mechanic just like my dad, I asked him for directions.
Rachel has no time to react. Without a word, the man snatches her off the street and throws her in the trunk of his car. Then the car speeds off. Rachel is terrified, but her mind remains sharp. She looks around the trunk, illuminated by the brake lights, and finds a can of WD-40 and a hammer. She starts hammering on the lid of the trunk as loud as she can, screaming at the top of her lungs.
Very clever. Very clever, Bill.
Screamed that I would give him money because I had
the whole pound
that my dad gave me.
That would have been a lot of money back then.
And his only response was, "Shut up or I'll kill you."
That was half an hour's work.
She then starts to untie her roller skates and takes them off because she knows that without them, she stands a better chance of running away once the man opens the trunk.
Can you tell me what happened when the man stopped the car?
He took me out and then took me
Imagine being a mother sitting there beside her.
And did he carry you straight to the clearing? Or did he take you somewhere else first? Or did he put you somewhere else first?
He came straight to the clearing.
Yesterday, when we were talking in the hospital, you said that the man got you in the back of the car. Do you remember that? Did the man touch you at all?
With her mom sitting next to her in the interrogation room, Rachel...
The secret that she pretty much kept for all these years was that she let everybody assume that he assaulted her once she was unconscious. That wasn't the case.
Omits parts of the story. She says nothing about what happened in the backseat of the car. And to investigators, it means she doesn't remember.
I have a big secret. It's been in my head for the last 30-odd years. Everybody believed that he strangled me before he sexually assaulted me. I don't know whether I knew at the time. I do know the reason why I didn't talk to my parents and tell them about it earlier was because I was ashamed. When we got to Devil's Dyke, he took me out.
That's the name of the place. Devil's Dyke.
Threw me on the back seat. He told me to take off all my clothes, and I just complied. I was conscious when he sexually assaulted me.
The man then puts his hands around her throat. Rachel can't breathe, but before she can say anything, she blacks out. He then carries Rachel into the woods and abandons her, convinced that she's dead.
Yep.
When she comes to, Rachel is alone and unable to stand. She fumbles her way out of the bushes, but she's dizzy and keeps falling over.
I just remember it being really cold and knowing that I had to find help. I saw some headlights. My first thought was that it was him again and that he was here to finish me off.
But she quickly realizes that if she doesn't approach those headlights, she's going to freeze to death. When she finally sees a shape in the dark, it's a young couple offering a blanket and their help. After being admitted to the hospital, Rachel is reunited with her mom.
I was worried that she'd be cross because I'd lost my brand new jumper. That's what I was afraid of.
That's what she was worried about.
Rachel just didn't want to go to bed when she came home.
And
I remember Rachel was sitting on the sofa picking the thorns out of her feet.
Picking the thorns out of her feet, where she had to walk from
As
the
a father,
woods.
you think that you can protect your family, your children, but you can't. And you can't blame anybody except
Something
yourself.
so innocent.
That's what you're there for as a parent, isn't it? You bring them up, you protect them, and you failed. And now go with me to the end.
At first light, over 100 officers began the most intensive search undertaken by Sussex Police since the Wild Park murder inquiry.
With the details given by Rachel, police are quickly able to start the investigation. They're looking for a white male with a mustache driving a red car. As the information is shared with the unit, detectives are informed that someone they know all too well was seen driving a red car that same night. Russell Bishop.
A couple of officers drove up to his house and saw him scrubbing, as if his life depended on it, his car.
When we opened up the boot lid, we saw the WD-40, we saw the hammer, we saw the chip marks in the lid to the boot. There was clothing fibres which later matched up to the ones that the little girl was wearing. There was blood and there was semen. Immediately linking the little girl to Bishop.
Bishop is immediately put under arrest. In an effort to make sure Bishop doesn't escape justice, Rachel is asked to face her attacker once more.
I remember the
Out of a
lineup.
lineup.
I did ask,
That would be fucking hard.
would he be able to see me?
I'm going to ask you in a moment to look through the window at the line of men who are sitting. I shall then ask you whether the person whom you saw on that line is here.
I don't think I let go of my mum's hand.
You think it's number 9.
The man Rachel points out is, in fact, Russell Bishop. On December 13th, 1990, Russell Bishop is found guilty of kidnapping, indecent assault, and attempted murder.
Here, a man who was acquitted of murdering 2 girls in Brighton 3 years ago has been jailed for trying to murder a girl of 7.
The judge sentenced Bishop to life imprisonment for attempted murder, 10 years imprisonment for kidnapping, and 10 years imprisonment for sexual assault.
And while everyone is relieved that he finally got what he deserved, there is no celebration in the courtroom, no cheers. Because everyone in Brighton is convinced Bishop killed Karen and Nicola in 1986, and that he should never have been allowed to walk free.
The parents of the 2 Brighton schoolgirls who Bishop had been cleared of murdering 3 years ago were among those in court.
It's no less than what he deserved. And it don't stop there, I'll tell you that now. My fight for justice for my daughter don't stop there.
Justice prevailed for that little girl. But the unfortunate thing is it wasn't justice for Karen and Nicola.
They say life goes on, but it don't. It's still there. It hasn't gone away from me. Do you know, I still do. I still go in shops
this is awful.
and look for clothes for her, thinking, oh, that looked nice on her.
And while the families of Karen Hadaway and Nicola Fellows continue to fight in their daughters' names, Rachel returns to her family life. She is granted anonymity by the court and is hoping everything will go back to the way it was. And for more than a decade, she has managed to live a normal life. Until one day, the phone rings. Russell Bishop is up for parole.
I thought a life sentence was a life sentence. Then I found out that life in Russell Bishop's case meant only 14 years. Just because he didn't actually kill me.
It's 2004. Rachel is now 22 years old, and the news is terrifying. Bishop, who has been in jail for the last 14 years, is due to be released at any moment. She's convinced Bishop will come back for her. It's 2005, and finally, there's hope for Rachel and for the Fellows and Hadaways. The double jeopardy law, an 800-year-old law preventing anyone from being tried twice for the same crime, is repealed. This means, with new evidence, Bishop could be retried for the 1986 murders of Karen and Nicola, but they need to act fast before he gets out on parole.
The key thing that they need is new and compelling evidence, and they only get one chance to present that evidence.
A new investigation is opened on the 1986 murder case, but gathering new and compelling evidence proves to be harder than expected.
I used to have nightmares that he would climb up a ladder and get through my bedroom window and come and finish me.
Ever since that phone call, Rachel has been terrified of Bishop being released. She's developed a condition called agoraphobia, which prevents her from ever leaving the house. As years pass, Bishop's parole continues to be denied, but until he's put away for good, Rachel will never feel at ease. Finally, in 2013, there's a break in the case.
The sweatshirt was still central to this investigation. Bishop had always denied any knowledge of the shirt at all. And Roy Green decided that he would test the inside of a tear on the cuff of the sweatshirt. And it came back with Bishop's DNA.
The discovery is huge, but there's just one problem. Scientists can't say for sure that the sweatshirt was not contaminated back in 1986. This means that any new DNA found on the sweatshirt is inadmissible. However, when the bodies were found, forensic pathologists had taken tapings from the girls' arms and kept them under seal. Back then, they didn't have the science to examine them for DNA.
When we examined those tapings,
in 2005,
mixed profile of DNA of Russell Bishop and Karen Hadaway. This was massive for us. This was Russell Bishop's DNA on Karen Hadaway's arm.
This could be the new compelling evidence investigators need to win this case. In May 2016, Russell Bishop is taken out of his prison cell. He is convinced his parole has finally come.
I'm risking you on suspicion of murders of committed fellows on Hadaway on or around Thursday, 9th of October 1996.
Tell us what happened to Nicola.
I've got no comment. I've got nothing to say. I'm not responsible for this. I have nothing to do with it. I mean, it's some fucking stuff.
You're nicked.
Tuned up 30 years later.
Governor, you're nicked. You piece of shit.
After his interrogation, Bishop is arrested and sent back to his cell to wait for his third trial. With his DNA on the girls' arms, the prosecution is convinced they have a strong case. But they have no idea that Bishop has a plausible explanation for that, and it could destroy the case once more.
Russell Bishop arrived in a prison van for the start of the second trial. He's faced accused of murdering 2 schoolgirls 32 years ago.
Their families were in court for the start of the trial.
It's been a long time coming, but I am smiling. We're grateful for the first time that someone's actually not slammed a door in our face.
32 years later.
But then we did say that we'd come to this park every year until we got justice.
That's right, justice.
October 16, 2018, Russell Bishop's retrial for the murders of Karen Hadaway and Nicola Fellows begins. When the prosecution shows the evidence to the court, the defense insists the sweatshirt was not Bishop's, and they explain why his DNA was found on Karen's arm.
Yeah, but
according to Bishop, he claims that when the bodies were found, he went to check their pulse, something apparently he had told Detective John Morton back in 1986.
Yeah.
I got a call asking me to come to the park where some local lads had found the bodies of the two girls. They had their heads down and were absolutely deflated. I was totally amazed when I saw the other guy, who turned out to be Russell Bishop. It was strange because he was standing there shuffling his feet and whistling out loud. So I asked him what happened, and he said to me, I jumped over the tree and went to the girls, and I felt both of their necks for a pulse.
And that's how he explained the DNA on the fucking top.
From what the other two had said, I knew Russell Bishop had not gone to within 15 feet of those girls on that afternoon.
Russell Bishop's argument cracks in front of the courtroom. The truth is far more disturbing. After he strangled the two girls to death on October 9, 1986, Russell Bishop participated in the search the next morning.
Yep.
He wanted to be the first on the scene to check their pulse, so he could explain why his DNA was on the girls. The problem is, he never got the chance to get close enough. Bishop is furious. He knows he's about to lose. This is when the prosecution reveals one last bit of evidence against Bishop.
The tapes.
Letters written by Bishop while he was on trial in 1987, sent to a 13-year-old. The letters are read out loud to the court.
Oh.
And they were incredibly sexually suggestive. And
Fuck.
clearly he didn't want those letters to be read out of court.
No.
And he started shouting from the dock that he wanted a retrial, but in fact those letters were read out.
On December 10th at 12:30 p.m., the jury is sent out to deliberate. In less than 2 hours, they come back with a verdict.
A convicted paedophile has been found guilty of murdering two schoolgirls found strangled and sexually assaulted near Brighton 32 years ago.
Russell Bishop is finally convicted for the murders he committed in 1986, and for which he escapes justice for 32 years. He is sentenced to an additional 36 years.
This is a moment to remember the two girls. We should also acknowledge the courage, persistence and dignity of Karen and Nicola's families. I sincerely hope the families can now find some peace and move forward to the next chapter in their lives.
I said that I'd never stop fighting for justice.
They were best friends
too. Rest in peace.
I used to go into the bedroom where those stuff was in the chest. When I opened the chest and all that stuff was there, and I can just smell it. When the court case finished and we got the verdict, I said, well, now she can go to her angel bed and go to sleep.
It's
She doesn't worry
horrific.
about anything.
Just the
and
shit that
I know she's
everyone
around.
had to go to
You
for
can't see
32
her,
years
and you can't feel her.
for justice.
She's there in spirit.
If I could have a wish come true, a dream that
This
comes
is so
to pass,
sad.
I'd ask to spend a day with you and pray that it would last. I'd run to you and hold you close. We'd laugh and smile again. We would talk about the old times and see how we've both been. My wish go ungranted, but it always will be true. I trade many of my surmise for one
more
yesterday
day
with
for
you.
you.
Since the trial, Rachel has been on a journey to get back control of her life. She has built a
Look at
beautiful
it.
family with her loving husband.
The reason I fell in love with Jack,
I got goosebumps.
he made me realise what it was to actually be loved, and he made sure that I felt it. I had my first daughter when I had just turned 22. She's turned out to be absolutely
Thankfully.
beautiful. All my children have.
We are far
I'm
more
very
advanced in
proud of
DNA and
each of
forensic
them.
science for that.
I'm hoping by telling my story, I will be able to put myself back in the now. I don't want to stay a prisoner of my past.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that
Amazing woman.
I can stop hiding. I want to be able to go out and spend time with my family and have dates with my husband and go to a pub and sit in a beer garden in the sunshine. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm still here.
So strong.
And I've still got a fighting chance.
So she got 6 years for perjury. And, oh,
Good. Good.
no, I don't need to watch that. So, let me just go into a little bit more detail about that. So he, where is it? So they pretty much repealed the double jeopardy law so that they could retry him. And the the tapes that they'd taken from, like, the clothing samples that they didn't have the technology to test back then. They were able to, and they actually put it under seal, so there was no doubt that they were not contaminated. So the High Court decided that there was enough evidence for him to face a second trial for the murders, and the advances in technology allowed further testing that showed that the taping was also found to contain Bishop's DNA. So that they didn't have to rely then just on the sweatshirt. In May 1916, he was taken down thinking that he was going to get his parole, and he was charged with their murders. He tried to appeal that and lost. On the 2nd of February 2018, he was, so 15th of October 2018, he was charged and pleaded not guilty. So the prosecutor, Brian Altman QC, told the jury that the case against Bishop was not just based on his attempt to kill another child in a similar manner. Rachel Watts. But on other compelling evidence, he explained. A significant part of the inquiry had been to reevaluate various areas of scientific work that were formed by the purposes for the purposes of the 1987 trial, but through the lens of modern day techniques, DNA profiling, which, although available in 86 and 87, was then in its infancy. So the jury was told that in 2014, samples were taken from one of the victims in 1986 and had been re-examined in the hope of finding traces of DNA. The produced skin flakes, which when analysed using the most up-to-date profiling techniques, gave a result that was 1 billion times more likely if Bishop's DNA was present than if it was absent. That sounds like good odds to me. He then suggested that Barry was to blame for the murders, and he told the jury that the police had spent 32 years building a case against the wrong man. Bishop was not in court every day for his 9-week trial, but complained to the judge about feeling suicidal over his temporary stay at Belmarsh prison. Poor bugger. The prosecution put forward a different timeline. Altman presented evidence that the girls were still alive at 6:30 p.m. and that Bishop returned to Wild Park. The defence witnesses in 87 trial returned as prosecution witnesses in the 2018 trial. Altman argued that the forensic samples taken as tapings in 86 were so carefully handled by the police and preserved by the scientists that he could present them in a time capsule to prove Bishop's guilt. 10th of December 2018, after a 9-week trial, a jury of 7 men and 5 women in 2.5 hours returned a guilty verdict. The 11th of December, he received 2 life sentences with a minimum of 36 years. May 21, Jenny Johnson, the skanky girlfriend, at the time of the murders, was found guilty of perjury and perverting the course of justice, and she admitted that she'd lied about the sweatshirt in the original trial and was remanded into custody and sentenced to 6 years in prison. She refused to attend the sentencing hearing. She currently is imprisoned in Her Majesty's Prison at Wandsfield, Britain's highest security prison for women. Bishop died from cancer on the 20th of January 2022 at the age of 55. Shame. He'd been rushed to hospital. Why? From Her Majesty's Prison in Durham after his condition had deteriorated. Well, I hope he had to pick thorns out of his fucking feet too. Because that's not even close to what he deserved. Piece of shit. So there you go. Oh, shoot. So yes, yeah, he should have gotten a longer sentence. He should have gotten 32 for both, but it's different over there, and we follow that as well, which is hang on. Because we were part of the Commonwealth. Share screen. Hang on. May as well have a watch of this whilst you. Oh, this one. Kitty can. Here's the full screen thing. There we go. Hey, say hello. Say hello. That's comfy. He's so cute. I've got the little heated pad. It was actually like a Tanya bought it for me, and it's a USB heat pad of about 45 by 45 centimeters square. But the USB connection is about that long. So it was something that I was going to use either, behind me in my chair or to lay on in bed. But I didn't have the extension. I couldn't reach it to any USB plug. So where I've got it now on the desk, it's attached to a power board that I've taped to the side of the desk so I can heat it up. And he laughed. I do. And I've got an electric blanket on my bed as well for the rest of them. But I actually, that was one of the reasons I was late today is I had to take Felix down to the vet. Poor bugger. I noticed yesterday that, and thankfully, having 4 cats, and not being able to change my doona covers, I cover my beds. I've got the most beautiful doona covers too. I cover them with blankets, like fluffy matching blankets that get changed every day. And I had a look at this blanket, and there was like little circular date stamps on it. I'm like, the fuck? Fuck. So I went on a search, and sure enough, it was Felix. I'm like, oh, you poor bugger. So yeah, took him down to the vet. Didn't have a temperature, so it wasn't an infection or anything. So we put him on some rice and chicken, and he was good as gold. Yeah. There was one on my chest of drawers. There was one on the steps that go up to the window. The cat window thing. He sat on the steps and date stamped it. And I always now, whenever I'm out of the bedroom, I put a hand towel on my pillow, because I know the second that I'm out of that room, they fight over who's going to sleep on my pillow. So I cover it now so that I don't come to bed not knowing who's been there. I'm onto them now. But it also it looks like I've made another friend You know, the next door neighbour's cat that I found in the house a couple of times. Well, when the last, couple of weeks where I've spent a bit of time in bed being unwell, I'd look up and I've got a big chest of drawers at the end of my bed. And I've got a bowl of water and cat treats. You are so spoiled. Cat treats on that chest of drawers. And I looked up and I thought it was clumsy because the cat next door is almost a spitting image of it, just like this one, but a little bit bigger, a little bit lighter, and more white on his paws. And he was sitting up there chomping away at the cat's treats. He looks over at me. I looked at him and I'm like, oh, I can't yell at you. I'm sorry, you're a cat. So I've got 4.5. Every day he comes in now, sits up there, has his nibble. Most of the cats don't even bother. Like Finn just looks up and goes, don't need it all. Yeah, I know. He doesn't look underweight or anything like that. He had a collar on, but I found that in my garden. And I can't keep him out because that window is for my cats to come in and out. So I can't close it. So yes, I think I'm going to have a friend. I'll have 5 by the next couple of months, no doubt. Felix is probably the only one that is bothered by his presence. He's the skittish one. And not so much bothered, but he will sit on those steps at the window if he knows that cat's out there. And remember me saying to you, I could hear this cat. Wow, it's him when they won't let him inside. When they won't let him in the window, he's the one making all the noise. So yes. So yeah. Oh, you are so cute. This one was my ex's who lived in a country town up what's called Hamilton, which was a 4-hour drive from me here in Melbourne. We met on the old swipe right. And so, yeah, he used to catch the train down and he'd sort of spend a week there and then a week down here with me. But he rescued this kitten from a feral, well, the people next door to him were feral. They had 2 cats that didn't have desexed and it kept having litters of kittens. So he rescued this one. But I didn't realise that he was leaving it locked inside his house with like 4 bowls of food and 5 bowls of water and shit and a massive kitty litter tray. This poor kitten by itself while he was down here. And I'm like, no, bring it. So he brought him and he was here for the 3 years that I was with him and he didn't want to go back. No, he stayed with me. Yep. So you were lucky, weren't you? You was. So he's my second eldest. I think he's probably 7 now. And then Finn, the white one, is, I'm talking about this the other day, it'd have to be 12. It'd have to be. And I had Felix, who's I've got the brother and sister with my failed adoption. Sorry. It wasn't adoption, it was fostering. I'd offered to look after cats that were waiting to be found their their forever home. And the two that I brought home with brother and sister, Felix and Claudia. And they didn't go. They stayed with me. Absolutely. I've got 2 girls, but they're grown up. They're 24 and 26 now, and working full time in the house, and life's busy. So my cats are my company pretty much, and they're all different. But yeah, Felix is the Sukilala one. He's a tuxedo. He's just beautiful. Actually, no, he's not there. He's over there. He's on the couch here. He's never far away from where I am. Felix. Felix. Can't see it past my desk. He's on that couch. Just there. Felix. Get up. Get up. Come on. Come on. No, he's just looking at me like, I ain't moving. It's nice and warm here, Mum. Oh. Where's the others? They'll be on my bed, no doubt. Righto. Your cats are amazed at the hummingbirds. I don't even know if we have hummingbirds here. Probably not. And that bloody thing at the back here, there, it looks like a cross, but it's not. It's a wooden hand carved elephant, believe it or not, a wooden elephant with a side table, and on the top of it I have my can't see it. There you go. My lava lamp. I know you can see it a little bit better. And then there's a giraffe, and what do you call it? An atrium I made myself. All my plants. Yeah. It's half of my lounge room. And I was having a play with StreamYard earlier. They've got this new thing. Where is it? Stop sharing that. Settings. Visuals. Check this out. Ooh. Hello. Don't mind if I do. Or what else have we got? Here we go. This was in the Nicola the rivers. This is the Apple River backdrop. I love these small houses. Look at them. I would love to have that. Oh, so comfy. And I love the Duna cover. Like, that's my colours in my bedroom. Or we can go to court. Ooh. Or we can have a little bit of Alphonse Gangitano. Yeah. Or a little bit of this. Yeah, I know I'm an idiot. What can I say? It's fun. Does it look like me? Look like me? Hello. Hello. Hang on. I've got to get it. Yeah, I cracked myself up. Sorry. Oh, look, I'm at Christine's house. There you go. I'm home again. All right. I'll stop being a dickhead now. No, I won't. Now, a couple of things. So today is the 20th here. So it's the 19th for you. So the 21st, 22nd are the parole hearings. They've allowed 2 days for the Menendez brothers. So we have tomorrow. I have tomorrow to come up with something. Right, so yeah, no, that's all right. I watched it by myself. I didn't give anyone any notice or anything. And I just, by the time I got home from the vet and then had to get myself organised and then dinner and had to give Felix medicine, which took forever. And I'd hurt my back lifting him in and out of the car. So yeah, it wasn't going to happen. That was the best I could do. I didn't give anyone any notice, nothing. So it was me. I sat there and watched it. And I think there's actually more episodes coming out. So no, neither do I. Neither do I. Which is another reason I think this is going to be good, because it'll help break up it'll keep separate from the defence rest, and it'll be just like a weekly thing, but it'll take some of the pressure off me having to work half the night as well. Does that make sense? I've got to restructure it somehow and have a happy balance, because I can't do it every night. I just can't. It is what it is, my loves. So yeah. And I notice now that it's starting to affect my work. I'm not happy with what I'm presenting, like the quality of it, because I don't have the physical ability at the moment to do it all. But hopefully, once this NDIS case, the tribunal is done, that will be a massive, massive weight lifted off me. So it'll be good. It'll be good. And yeah, all right. I've got a message here on WhatsApp, and I bet you it's yours, isn't it? I haven't even had a chance to open it. Huh. Yep, told ya. Sorry. All right, my loves. I will say goodnight, and I'm probably going to go out and edit that section of the new planned segment show. Take it off so that no one else can see it and pinch it until I'm ready to launch it. Alrighty. So don't be good at it. And I'll see ya when I'm looking at you. Hasta la vista, bitches. Bye.
Hey there, thanks for stopping in. We hope you will join us again. We all look forward to next time. We get to talk about true crime. Clues. Justice served in an honest fight. True crime tales till the verdict's right. Solving more than just trivial quests, where sentences rule and the defense rests. Our true crime family is great. All types of topics we debate. Smash that like and ring that bell. Hit subscribe, you might as well.